is Enrique Lopez, and today I'm going to be completing the week 5 assignment for the SDI FTE217 Monosport rifle. Today is June 24th of 2026. So I'm going to start by part 1. I'm going to be making a dry function check. Also, I'm going to be making a function check with dummy rounds and also a drop test. And also, I'm going to be responding on what will I be looking for when I'm doing a live fire check. So I'm going to start by showing that we don't have any live ammunition in the working area near on the firearm. We're going to visually and physically check that we don't have any live ammunition in the chamber. We are good. And then I'm going to be start by making a safety check. With my selector on the safety position, I'm going to check that my firearm doesn't fire. Going to fire, I'm going to make sure this is operational. Holding my trigger. I'm going to check my reset. I'm gonna hear a small click. That's when my trigger engage with the hammer, and also I'm gonna put it back again. That's my dry function check. Now I'm gonna be making my dry function check with dummy rounds. Here's my dummy rounds in the magazine. Magazine in. It's loaded. Safe position. Doesn't fire. Fire position. It went through. Chamber in again. Fire. And empty magazine. Bolt is catch. So we have a functional cycling rifle. Now with a dummy round inserted, I'm gonna make a. I'm gonna simulate a drop test with a mallet. First, I'm gonna be making it in a safe position. I'm gonna put it in the fire position. And pull the trigger to make sure that it wasn't fired. Now that's done for the part 1. We're moving to the part 2. But before moving forward to the part 2, I just want to mention what should I be looking for a live fire check. I will complete all these tests that I just did on the dry fire and the dummy rounds. And when I'm making the live fire test, I'm gonna be looking that the rifle completes the whole cycle of firing. That it's like the feeding, chambering, locking, the firing well, that I have the locking, injecting, extracting and injecting, and the cocking cycle with no issues. So for the part 2, I'm going to be putting close attention to the smoothness of the trigger, and I'm going to be articulating whether on my view if it is feel good or bad. So this is a single stage trigger for me. Have a very short reset, and in my opinion it feels good. And why? It's a crisp trigger, and you have the right way on the pull to make this rifle safer. Since it's like a hunting rifle, the trigger doesn't have to be very light. In my opinion, this is the right way for it, because it's not a defense firearm, so I don't have to be like having like a fast fire on this type of firearm. So in my opinion, it just feels perfect. So for the part 3 of this assignment, I'm going to measure the barrel length of this rifle. So for this, I'm going to be using my rod, inserting it through the bore of the barrel. And with the bolt carrier group in, I'm going to go insert it till it just touch the face of the bolt through this way and make some marks. Let me adjust the rifle right now. We're gonna make a mark on the rock. Using this, let me take in the measurements, and we have about 19 inches and 3/4 But since the muzzle device measurement, it's 1 inch and 3/4, I'm gonna be taking off that 1 inch of 3 3/4 from the measurements that we got, and it's gonna be 18 inches. So we have a barrel of 18 inches. For part 4, I'm gonna be measuring the barrel twist on this rifle. For this part, I'm gonna be using a piece of tape, making it in the shape of a flag, wrapping it around the rod, so I can count the turns that it makes. I'm gonna be putting this brass blunt on the tip of the rod and this piece of rack, so it won't make the twist. And I'm gonna be counting 1 full turn and make the marks. I'm gonna be inserting the rod with a piece of rack on my blunt tip. That's many turns. Then I have my mark here, and with my piece of tape in a 12 o'clock position, I'm gonna push the rod freely that it makes a whole full turn on my piece of tape, and I'm gonna make the second mark. That's where it is. I'm gonna take it off. Alright. Here's where I have my first mark, and here I have my second mark. Measuring tape. It's about 10.5 inches, between 10.5 inches and 10 inches and 3/4. So my rate twist of this bore, it's 1 in a 10, or 1 in a 10.5. So for part 5 of this assignment, I'm gonna be measuring and making a test of the head space with the go and no go gauge. So for this part, I'm gonna go with the go gauge first. I'm gonna put it in. I'm supposed to have my bolt all locked with the barrel extension, and my BCG, it has to be flush with the end of the upper receiver. Here's my go gauge inserted. You can see that my BCG is flush with the upper receiver end, and my BCG lugs are locked with the barrel extension. I'll pull it out. Now I'm gonna go with the no-go gauge and make the same test, but on this time the no-go gauge will not allow me to lock the BCG on my barrel extension, and we can see in here the BCG, the bolt carrier group, it doesn't go all the way flush with the end of the upper receiver. For part 6 of this assignment is to measure the firepin precision. For that, I'm gonna be using a caliper tool and a fire precision gauge. So I'm gonna put this on 0. What I'm first gonna do is measure the fire precision gauge by itself, all the way close, and it's 634 thousandths of an inch. I'm gonna be making those, writing out those measurements. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be measuring it with the tip up, and then I'm gonna be making those mats. So I'm going to insert a fire pin to the BCG. I'm gonna unlock the tool, push it down, unlock. Then I'm gonna be taking the measurements with the precision up. And it's measuring 375 of an inch. So that's the difference of 0.641 thousandths of an inch. So basically it's 41. We have a difference of 0.041 thousandths of an inch. And that's conclude with this video and this assignment. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next time.